Okay, everybody. Chico here. Just got home about a half hour ago shopping. Very windy outside. Windy and cold, 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 cold. So 10 minutes. Oh, your wrench was gone. I don't know what happened. Dang it. I was fixing, dang it. I gotta give you your wrench back. Michelle, I did some changes and I forgot to. Okay, you got your wrench back. Squash, or, yeah, squash, or Boz. Oh, I'll get a name. Sorry about that. Where's everybody at? We got a second Billy Bean. I think it's 35 minutes. Yep, he sure is. What are you doing, buddy? What are you looking at out there? Very cold outside. Windy. Oh, let's wait on to get everybody in here. Lucy and Carol. Okay. Me go. Me go. Where you going? Huh? Who's that? Who's that there? Huh? Want to say hi to everybody? Say hi. Famous, famous dog here. Yep, just like dude did. Huh? Huh? What? Yeah, everybody saying hi to you. Carol, I just got home. But get back up there. What are you doing? Oh, oh boy, another. Uh I messed up on the settings. I was working on something, Carol. Hold on. Okay, try it now. Okay, try it now. Oh, okay. I don't know if I got it. Okay. I had to fix something. All right. Must be going to have a late crowd come in tonight, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and sign into Telegram and we'll do the first video on the shooting. It was a shooting, I guess, another one. So we'll get that up there. Uh,
What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Welcome. Trying to get set up. I just heard about this last minute.
And yeah, I told everybody I was coming on about 7. Just got home. Dropping. This was an hour about hour ago. Yeah.
Was they going around checking the whole school?
See what this is. Let's watch 5 minutes of it. I'll fast forward it.
We have lost the IFB, and I have no entertainment. I need entertainment. They're like, no entertainment for you. There we go. Thank you. Is he leaving? Oh.
Okay, hey, get you entertainment opinion only. What is going on? Why he hasn't?
Not true. We should be happy about that, guys. We should be happy. No airplane parking.
Oh, Duke's no. Why they?
I'll move on.
Is not
3 minutes.
and never has been the standard that prosecutors in this country need in order to go into a grand jury. This is not and has never been the law of the land. And so this decision today by Judge Boasberg runs directly afoul of our highest court's admonition that courts and judges must not and cannot saddle grand juries with mini trials and preliminary showings that impede a prosecutor's investigation and thus frustrate the public's interest in the fair and expeditious administration of justice. No one, folks, is above the law. And this outrageous decision will be appealed by the United States Department of Justice. Go ahead, sir.
Do you think that your office's failure to attempt to prosecute 6 members of Congress?
I'm not here to talk about 6 members of Congress. I'm here to talk about the fact that the grand jury has a job. They look at evidence. They decide whether they want to indict. If they don't indict, so be it. And if you want to know what the judge thinks, go ask him. Next question.
Can I get your reaction to statements from Senator Tom Tillis, you know, has been blocking and vowed to continue blocking?
You know, honestly, I don't know and I don't care. And I'll tell you why. I am in a legal lane. All of the rest is white noise. I don't care what they say. I have a job. I have the ability to go into a grand jury. There are questions that the American public and people in D.C. are entitled to know where $1 billion has gone. And that's my focus.
But he is asking for an assurance that the investigation into Powell has ended it. Are you willing to concede?
Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah,
I just said that this decision will be appealed by the United States Department of Justice. That's the answer to your question. We're looking at 1001, and we're also looking at a statute having to do with fraud, but it's up to the grand jury to make that decision. We're $1 billion over in cost overruns. Are you kidding? $1 billion? We're not talking about huge buildings here.
Okay, that was into that one. We'll get a Benny in. 10 minutes on Benny. There you go.
Hey guys, remember that one time that President Trump was having a historic inauguration for the second time? The only president to actually serve elected in non-consecutive terms. Very cool, bro. But it was also very cool that day. The Trump administration said that they moved the inauguration indoors due to cold weather. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? I don't. I don't, because, of course, we've all seen inaugurations. They take place outside in kind of a massive field in front of the United States Capitol, which is one of those buildings that actually is much bigger in person than it even looks, on screen. And so, again, this is a really big area, the front portico of the United States Capitol. It's massive. It's multiple football fields big, okay? And they didn't think that they could protect Donald Trump from a drone swarm there. I think that's what's going on here. They were so scared, and that's what I've heard from federal law enforcement. They were so worried about a Chinese or Iranian drone swarm attacking what would be a very vulnerable president. You might have like the glass, but you don't have any like netting over Trump. He'd already taken a bullet to the head. And so they said, no more. We're going to do everything indoors. They blamed it on cold weather. It was a little cold, but I don't know. It's always cold in D.C. in January. Well, drone swarms are something that obviously it's the weapons of war of the future. It's the way warfare is going to be waged in the future. And it's a big threat to our country right now. Iran plotting drone attack of California, retaliation for the war, terrifying FBI alert reveals. The FBI alerted California law enforcement of a potential Iranian drone strike on the West Coast. Now, we have already reported on this. This is pretty shocking. We have no additional information on the timing, method, or target. But what will happen is an unidentified vessel off the coast of off the coast of California from Iran will launch a bunch of drones, and they'll kill you. And this would be really bad because these things can, do major damage to buildings, skyscrapers. They've already killed Americans in war theater. They're called the Shahidi drones, and they're very effective, quite frankly. And very mobile, very cheap, but do their job. So this is ABC News reporting this. Obviously, it made big headlines this week. FBI, ABC News. These are what the drones look like.
Oh, Hey,
and what the facilities look like to build them.
you don't have one either.
And they can be put into the back of like a truck and just driven anywhere. And you don't know where they're being launched from. Because it's just like in the back of a truck. They're pretty lightweight. And they do an enormous amount of damage. Again, Americans have already lost their lives over this. Match this reporting about California with the Doomsday plane spotted flying low over to California again. The special Doomsday plane for the second time in 2 months. Huge Boeing E-6B Mercury, the president's emergency operational hub if a nuclear war broke out, coasted over Fresno over the weekend.
Yep.
Airport bosses said it was
I just
conducting
got home
approaches
about 6:30
at the site and spent 2 hours doing mock
TV.
landing, leaving onlookers stunned. It's a monstrous plane. Goodness gracious. This thing costs $500 million. Jeez. See here, you got like briefing room, boardrooms, conference rooms. Yo. So everybody was like, well, are we going to nuclear war or what's going on here? Well, we may be going to false flag war. I'm not sure. This one set off all the wrong alarm bells in the old head, the old noggin here. Manhunt for masked thieves who raided U.S. Army base to steal drones amid Iranian revenge attacks. Oh, okay, got it.
Oh, Lucy
It's
had
like a little
range.
too convenient. Look at this. U.S. military is cracking down,
There
catching two
you
mysterious
are.
thieves who stole 4 military drones from a secret army base amid fears of an Iranian drone attack on U.S. soil. Army investigators are offering $5,000 reward for information. The arrest of 2 masked men who stole drones from Fort Campbell in November. The drones were stored at a secret engineering battalion building in the base. Investigator releasing the images. 2 suspects they believe are involved. Why are we just finding out about this now? Is it connected? They're both wearing head and face coverings, dark sweatshirts, and gloves. The man escaped in separate getaway cars. All 4 drones were taken from the supply between November 21st and 24th, the Army installation between Kentucky and Tennessee. The military base would not give more specifics on the timeline of the timeline for the theft. It's unclear if they were taken on the same day, multiple days. Heightened manhunt for suspects. Well, look at these guys. Hold on. This is the best video camera technology you have on a military base. You have U.S. military drones and tech, and these dudes, you can just walk up to a military base and take them. You can take munitions from the base. What else could they take?
This is what would happen to your body if you ate mood sleep gummies every day. Day 1, you take your first gummy at...
This is insane. Iran is aspiring to conduct surprise drone attacks. Wouldn't it be convenient if you just used U.S.-made Homeland Security or military drones? Donald Trump told reporters that the threat is being investigated. We have a lot of things happening, and we do take all this as they come, the president said, as he was in Kentucky. Goodness gracious. There are 30,000 active duty soldiers stationed at Fort Campbell. It appears the reward and release images, the first time the theft has been made public. Pentagon did not comment on the investigation. Look at that. So here it is. $5,000 reward. Responsible for the drone theft, the theft of this style drones. Still can be deadly. You could still attach a grenade, munition, bombs. These things are really powerful. And it's crazy that you can just walk onto an army base and just steal a drone. It's insane. And then, of course, it would be an army drone. Be hard to track. It'd be an army drone. If you were to use these for nefarious reasons, it'd be an army drone that was doing whatever they're going to do. Eyes on sleeper cells. Trump says Iran drone revenge threat in California is under investigation. He reveals he has eyes on the sleeper cells in
briefed
the
about
country.
how many Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now.
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. so we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think. If it doesn't, they came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted at a level that nobody's seen before.
Okay. No law enforcement expert, but if you know where they are, why wouldn't you go arrest them, right? Oscars are now on high alert after FBI and LAPD warn of potential attack. Thousands of private security vehicles and dog sniffers. And sniffer dogs. It is the Oscars. They probably do have some dog sniffers there, if you know what I mean. Oscar security tight and ready. FBI warns of a drone swarm. Yep. Big time problems. They're priming the pump for a big false flag. That's right. You can see here. I warned about it earlier this week. Sounds like it could be a false flag. It really does. But again, we'll see what happens. Keep your head on a swivel. Be smart. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
Okay, the first one. Hey, Lucy, the first show I had 3 good ones from that lady about what you should have near your office and everything. There's 3 good ones, what she did today. I got one more she came out with. See what. This will be the 4th one she had today.
Shaw. He was the ROTC teacher. He was a combat veteran, a lieutenant colonel. He served his country and then lost his life in his classroom because of a radical Muslim terrorist. And when President Trump referred to this monster as a radical lunatic, they're losing their shit now, calling him a racist. I mean, what else is new? Where's Black Lives Matter about this black man that just lost his life? Where are you guys at? I haven't heard a peep from you guys about what's going on with these people, the radicals. I haven't heard a word from y'all. So this man lost his life, but he taught his boys well. He taught them well. Those ROTC boys are heroes. They got up and they handled their shit and they handled his shit. Okay? But when Trump calls them what they are, all of a sudden, we're back to he's being a racist. This is what we're fucking worried about? We're worried about offending a group of people? Well, we've got people threatening to unalive us, driving their fucking vehicles into places with children. They've got drones. They've got their fucking guns. And we're worried about offending somebody. When are we going to do more than do what I'm doing right here, guys? Hey, guys.
Okay, we got 4 today from her. See what we got next here. About 4 minutes, I think.
Announced the discovery of alien life after Obama had said aliens exist a couple weeks ago. Apparently there's some speech that he has pre-written that at the right time, he doesn't know when the right time is, but he's going to break out and talk about, and that has to do with maybe some sort of extraterrestrial life, so to speak. Didn't actually say apparently that he's going to address this at the State of the Union. She said when her and her husband asked, he played a little coy and he's like, I don't know. So this could be kind of drama to get everybody drummed up for the State of the Union, because I'm kind of seeing this everywhere right now, so that more people turn into the State of the Union because, well, again, energy harvesting. Because it might be a good time to revisit Project Bluebeam. I don't know that they could pull off a Project Bluebeam right now because everybody knows about Project Bluebeam, but we can go through it anyway, just in case. There were 4 steps to this program. 1 was breaking down the archaeological knowledge, faking earthquakes to reveal new evidence that discredits current religion. Giant space show would be number 2, using holographic images in the sky to simulate alien or divine or messianic appearances. So, Jesus coming back for his second reign. The third one was electronic telepathic communication using low frequency vibrations in order to plant messages in people's minds, which sounds super crazy, but we know they do it. Make you feel like God is talking to you directly. I feel like those who are really in tune, specifically with this one, those who are really in tune with their faith will know the difference, because when you talk to God, it's almost like it's out of consciousness. Physically hear a voice, but it's more like you know what I'm saying? I feel like they could differentiate between the two. They'd probably just wind up thinking they're schizophrenic if this one came to fruition. Last one is universal supernatural manifestation, creating a fake alien invasion in order to push humanity towards a global unity. Basically, the end goal would be a one world religion that is not like any of the other religions. Is it likely they could pull something like this off? Not really. I feel like too many people have woken up at this point that there would at least be somebody next to somebody who maybe hasn't woken up that would say, hey, listen, let me tell you a story about this. Okay, I think this is what's going on. I'm even seeing Epstein stuff on Facebook, and that's kind of wild to me, because normally Facebook's really behind the times. People are even talking about it in my town. Okay, people are awake. There are a lot of people out there that believe that aliens are demons. I am not of that belief. I believe that there are multiple different species of aliens. Yes, some could be demons, but then some could be not demons. I feel like there's a war that's already going on that we don't even see or recognize or know about in terms of that. I've sadly given up on little green men. That was one of my favorite things for a long time, but I've kind of given up on them. I'm inclined to believe that whatever it is in the ocean, and it's probably, again, there's two sides to the coin. There's good and there's bad. I believe that the bad is probably a lot of what we're seeing, but I do believe that the good walk among us as well. Anyway, I guess we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I got one more from her.
Christ is king is, I hate the Jews. Is that your view, or why do you say that? Because you see the people who are saying it, and they're saying it in that context. They're saying Jews are horrible, good, like they're attacking Jews, and they end with Christ is king to make it sound like somehow there's a biblical basis for attacking Jews. Look, Jesus was a Jew. And by the way, the twisted theology that says Jews are Christ killers, and that's been used to justify anti-Semitism, to justify persecution and murder. Look, as I read the Gospels,
I think it's about 3 minutes.
Jesus went to the cross willingly. He made the choice to go to the cross, and it was not the Jews who killed Jesus. It was me. It was you. Look, Jesus died for our sins.
That Jesus died for our sins was the biggest piece of propaganda that ever came out of our churches ever. Because yes, that was the prophecy that Jesus would die on the cross, okay? But I didn't kill him. That guy didn't kill him, okay? The religious leaders of the Jewish sect killed him. They manipulated the Romans to kill him. The Romans didn't even want to kill him. Pontius Pilate did not want to kill him. It was the Jewish religious leaders that got the people all fired up to kill Jesus. Yeah, Jesus was a Jew until they killed him. If he were to come back today, he'd be a Christian, probably. People argue that he was Hebrew. He wasn't even a Jew. He just practiced the Jewish religious stuff. I don't know enough about that to really comment on it a lot. Are you really now going to come out here on God's green internet in 2026 and you're going to tell the people that saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic? It's used to try and hurt the Jews. The Jews don't even believe in Christ. So why are they getting so wind up about it? Why do they even care if we say Christ is king? Or in what context? In fact, the last I heard, they got a book out there that's written in a language that none of us Goyams are able to read that says that Jesus Christ is in hell burning in his own excrement. You know, somebody from Badlands who does Badlands clips reached out to me this morning. She was clipping my show, and she reached out to ask if I was okay. Said during the show I sounded kind of burnt out and wound down and disappointed and disheartened. And she was right. And I feel like the answer is a little more nuanced than, no, I'm fine. It's fine. It's just social media. It's just politics. It's not. It's not. I am wildly disappointed and sad and angry. Maybe I do feel a little too much emotionally when it comes to these subjects. And maybe this isn't something I should have ever gotten into. But I didn't want to wear a fucking mask, and I thought that was retarded. And you know what? I still do. I'm so sick and tired of paying taxes. My husband got a decent bonus this year because he worked really hard all year. He deserved this decent bonus, and we were super excited about it. And we knew the government was going to take some, but I didn't know they were going to take thousands of dollars of his bonus after I had already wrote a check for our taxes for the year. Could say, well, he should have signed a 1099 and not had the taxes automatically taken out of his check, and all that's well and fine, okay, until it comes tax time and we have a huge bill to pay. And I'm really grateful if you yourself and you haven't had to go up against the IRS or been on the wrong side of the IRS and the government, but I have, and it's not fun. They'll take your house over $65 fucking dollars. Then fuck you, Ted Cruz. No, I'm not okay. I'm disappointed. I really didn't. I never thought that Trump was here to save us. I never ever thought that. That wasn't my belief. My belief was that when we got the right people in there, they would be able to remove some of the obstacles, which would allow us to make choices to save ourselves. But no, all we're doing now is we're out here appeasing the tiny hat. Christ is King, Ted Cruz, and fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. Worthless, shameless, arrogant, narcissistic piece of shit. Talks of midterms are coming around again. People are getting all fired up for fuck your midterms. Fuck your midterms. Fuck your midterms. Okay, your stupid little midterms. I just learned that you wasted all the taxpayer money on the dumbest shit at the beginning of this year. Then I learned that you were part of the largest human trafficking ring ever to exist in this year, and you've done nothing to hold anybody accountable to it. And all you do is you come out here and you suck the dick of the tiny hats. I'm not interested. You're more interested in your donors in Israel than you are in actually helping the American people. So fuck your midterms. Your stupid, piddly little midterms. Oh my God, my midterms. Fuck your midterm. I feel way too much in here to do this. Right now, I'm so disappointed, so angry. I'm positive that I can think that I got out of this was that I did turn back into my faith with both feet. I went from being more of a lukewarm to wanting to be the best Christ follower I could possibly be. For today, I'm just gonna bask in that. I know the swearing, the F, yeah, but Jesus called them all a brood of vipers.
Sorry about that, you guys. This one has, I guess, 2 parts. I only saw one.
So here it goes. It's blatantly obvious at this point we are in a operation.
Let's see how long this.
It's blatantly obvious at this point that the last 8 years has been a pause. As we were told, the last 8 years, since 2017, 9 years,
5
we were going to go through a time
part.
like never before. Everything would be different. Why? Because we're at war. No, there's no tanks and bullets. No, there's no guns and ammo. There's a digital battlefield. There's information, 5D warfare, 5th generational warfare. So we've been in this war, and a lot of people have been isolated. A lot of people have been selected without knowing it. A lot of people had divine intervention, how they fell into this whole research anon patriot.
This guy's okay,
just
isn't
divine
he?
intervention. Like for me, it wasn't something I really chose. It just happened in 2020. 2020 was the scamdemic, where a lot of people started questioning things, and then a lot of people had a lot of free time because of working remote and other reasons, to where they could learn and start researching and start watching documentaries, things like The Fall of the Cabal, Out of the Shadows. For me, it was the X-22 report every night. Literally every night, like there was no partying, there was no going out. It was Dave X-22 report. Back then, it was my supplement store for 12 hours, helping a customer, watching documentaries, studying the Q drops. Those who have the divine intervention and have researched the Q drops, studied them to an extent, understand what's going on right now. In fact, there's levels to this, right? So the Great Awakening is not something that says everyone will wake up at the same time. The Great Awakening is about hitting a precipice that each of us have different emotions on. Could be children, could be military, could be war, could be financials. Many things tip people off. The precipice is the amount you can take, and when you get to that precipice, you can't take anymore. You've hit the top, right? You're going to break. And we got to hit that, because that's when people start making changes in their lives.
Right, finally go.
So that being said, I've often questioned God, why he isolated me for so long. Why don't I have kids? Why don't I have a marriage? Why don't I have family? Instead of looking at it as a negative thing, which most people do, it's just got human nature. I've really started just ever since my New Year's resolution this year was to stay in the Word and read a book out of the Bible, the New Testament, the Old Testament, and I'm through the New Testament. I'm halfway through the Old Testament now, for the second time, and this revealing from the Holy Spirit has kind of changed my whole outlook on everything. The question I have for you is this. If you were in charge of putting together a plan, a sting operation that would wake people up from the programming that has happened for many decades, but you had to do it so strategically, you had to do it so perfectly. You couldn't start a war, you couldn't start a civil unrest, and everything had to be timed out to where everyone could swallow the information, the pill, digest it, and hit that precipice without causing a complete devastation event. How would you do it? How would you do it? That's a question I often ask myself. So before I get to part 2, think on that. How would you do it? And remember, the Q operation's been going on for over 50 years. The only reason we know about it and you're finding out about it is because of 2017, this thing called the internet. And thankfully, a new president came in, and the first thing he did was went to a account on a platform called Twitter, in which he started calling these places that we used to watch like crazy. And unfortunately, they were nothing but propaganda machines, but he called them fake news. So my question for you is, if you had to save humanity from a satanic cult of bloodlines over 1,000 years old that created this world we have on God's earth, we call it Satan's playground, how would you do it without causing a civil disruption, civil war, or World War III scenario? Part 2 coming soon.
Did we play his second? Here, I got one. I'm not sure if we played it. Yeah, I did. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get Billy Bean going here. She has a 35-minute one.
Some of the things we'll cover. Rest in peace, another 6 U.S. military.
36.
And the U.S. has had 5 terrorist attacks. It's been confirmed that the IRGC and the Chinese military are in Mexico. We have President Trump, thank God, standing as the guardian of America. And we have President Trump taking down the oil sanctions for Russia for 30 days. And we have Israel, the U.S., Israel, and the patriots of Iran, I believe, uniting against an evil empire. So let's get started. So we have going on, we've had in this past week 5 terrorist attacks on America. We had an attack on the Temple Israel synagogue and school in Detroit. We had an attack in Austin, Texas, where 3 died and 14 were injured. We had an attack on Old Dominion in Virginia, where 1 died and 2 were injured. We've had a cyber attack on a company called Stryker. So that's going on. And we have this. So we also had overnight, we had a KC-135 refueler that was refueling another KC-135 refueler over western Iraq in a friendly sky. Now, when these refueling operations take place, they're always guarded by 2 fighter jets. And that happened last night also. For reasons that are unknown, maybe a sudden weather turbulence event or a mechanical event, there was a disruption in the refueling process. One of the KC-135s was able to land safely. The other KC-135 crashed in western Iraq, and all 6 U.S. military on board did not survive. So our thoughts, hearts, and prayers go out to the family and friends of this additional 6 U.S. military who have paid the ultimate price as the U.S. and Israel fight against to bring down an evil empire that poses a clear and present danger to both America, Israel, the Gulf states, nations, and European NATO nations. So that's going on. And CENTCOM has said that the crash of the 130 refueler, 1C-135 refueler, was not the result of any type of firefight from either hostile nor friendly forces. It just happened, and CENTCOM is continuing their investigation. Now we have details on most recent terrorist attacks in the U.S. We had Old Dominion University in Virginia hit, and the person who made this hit on Old Dominion was from Sierra Leone. He, I believe this is the individual who had previously served 7 years for giving support to ISIS. He was a naturalized U.S. citizen who then, it's believed, acted as a lone wolf, juiced up, it's believed, by what's going on in Iran. And he went into an ROTC class. He shot dead the lieutenant colonel instructor and wounded 2 of the students. Then the remaining ROTC students took him down. One of them had a knife and killed him. That's an example of the spirit that exists in American citizens. And we had also an attack. This one is believed or has the earmarks of being an activated sleeper cell individual by Iran. 41, named Ibrahim Kasali. He drove his car into the synagogue located close to Detroit and knocked unconscious a synagogue guard who was armed, but he was knocked unconscious, drove his vehicle into the synagogue 40 feet.
What's GovPlus? GovPlus is revolutionizing how you apply for any of these important documents.
When a second armed security guard had a firefight with Ibrahim Kasali, and the guard was able to shoot him dead. Somehow, during that process, Kasali was able to detonate a bomb that went off inside the synagogue. We don't know what kind of bomb it was. We did see smoke pouring out from all of the openings on the building. within 5 minutes of the law enforcement in that area, including federal resources, FBI, 5 minutes, they were able to respond to the 911 call from the conscious security guard at the synagogue. So after the terrorist was neutralized, maybe as many as 100 law enforcement, first responders, and so on went into the building to make sure there were no other terrorists in the building. And let me note, prior to law enforcement going in, there was a preschool class there with about 100 children and several teachers. They were all safely evacuated to another site. Now, it's interesting, and I believe a move by God, that just a few months before this terrorist attack on the synagogue, Temple Israel in Detroit, law enforcement and federal agencies had practiced just such a scenario. They had a pre-selected evacuation site and a procedure for the buses then to take the children and teachers from the synagogue to the pre-selected evacuation site, which worked perfectly in this attack on the synagogue. But many, up to 50 of the law enforcement and first responders who went into the smoke-filled building had to be treated for smoke inhalation. No other terrorists were found, and so that ended safely with the security guard who was knocked unconscious by the vehicle is in stable condition. So no life-threatening injuries, no deaths for the good guys. So that's going on. So that was one of the 5 terrorist attacks. Previously, we had seen an attack in Austin, Texas, where 3 were shot dead and 14 injured. It's also believed that was a lone wolf attack, juiced up by what's going on in Iran. We had a cyber attack on a company called Stryker, and we had the 2 individuals who are, all of these perpetrators are Muslims. And there were 2 in New York City who put together improvised bombs in front to be detonated in front of the house of the New York City Mayor Mandami. And the response by law enforcement and federal agents, the FBI, was able to secure the site, collect the bombs, and so the 2 perpetrators have been arrested. They're 18 and 19 years old. So that's going on. Now, it has been confirmed that we have, so here is the U.S. We have in Mexico, it's been confirmed, there are IRGC sleeper cells, and there are 100,000 Chinese military. Now, what do you think the plan by Iran and China is with these assets in Mexico? Obviously, it is to invade and attack America. I assure you, the U.S. military is well aware.
Whoever invented this deserves a raise. Can't believe it's already 2025 and people are still using this old, disgusting sink plug.
Of the location of these groups. And Mexico is also on President Trump's hit
24
list.
minutes still, you guys.
And we see President Trump standing and supporting him, I believe, is God, the American people. And we see President Trump standing firm as the guardian of America, bringing forth a plan to protect America that has been in place for months and is comprehensive against many foreign nations who would attack America. Part of that plan had to be to secure the southern border. And it was known the Chinese military and the IRGC are in Mexico and who work with the cartels. Their goal is to destroy and kill American citizens. So President Trump brought forth the fence across the southern border, and we're assured that no one is getting across our southern border to date. And also, we're hearing rumors of a drone hit to be brought about on the U.S. West Coast, California. It's believed to be put in place by the IRGC located in Mexico. However, the U.S. military, I believe God, the American people, President Trump, the U.S. military stand firm, and that threat can be handled by the U.S. military. But I want to bring forth that these threats are real to America. Iran posed a clear and present danger to America, to Israel, to the Gulf states, neighbors, and to NATO nations. Iran must be taken down. The top part of the Iranian clerics and mullahs and the IRGC and the Basic group that kills its own citizens must be neutralized. When you are battling with evil, there is no room for negotiation. They simply must be killed. So that's going on. And yes, we're hearing details about a drone attack on San Diego that happened last night that was handled by the U.S. military on the California coast. So we have lots of things going on, don't we? And we have this, that the U.S. and Israel have launched more missiles in 2 weeks of conflict, more missiles than Ukraine has launched in 4 years of conflict. So that's a lot of hits. And we have this. President Trump has taken away the oil sanctions against Russia for 30 days. This is to help ease the global need for oil as the U.S. and Israel conflict against Iran has resulted in the Strait of Hormuz being temporarily closed. Now, my thinking is President Trump taking away the sanctions against Russian oil, he putting forth the art of the deal, I believe most likely put forth a requirement for Russia, and that was for Russia to stop providing intel to Iran. We don't know whether President Trump has had a similar conversation with China for China to also stop providing intel to Iran. But I suspect that's very likely. So that's going on. And we see the current Brent measure for the price of oil after President Trump announced he's stopping the sanctions against Russian oil, we saw the price of a barrel of oil go below $100. So that's going on. We see Mossad, the Israeli intel arm,
You just clicked on the ad, and this is serious.
coordinating with the Iranian people who are patriots inside Iran for the Iranian people to give locations to Israel of the Basij group, Basij, Basij group of the IRGC, and the Basij group is the group who would go out on the streets with machine guns and kill Iranian citizens who were protesting. So the Iranian patriots are providing Mossad with the locations of these Basij checkpoints, and they are being consistently taken out by strategic strikes by Israel. So that happened last night. And we have this. Regarding the U.S. economy, we see JP Morgan Chase, one of the largest banks in the world, now decreasing the amount of withdrawals that certain investors can make from a JP Morgan Chase private investment group. This is a group who gives money, loans money to businesses outside of traditional banks. But this private investment arm of JP Morgan Chase is now limiting the amount of money that its investors can withdraw. And we see this. The IRGC CUDs were brought out into the street along with a mullah, and they received a hit by Israel. This is part of the information that's being given by Iranian patriots to Israel to strike the IRGC CUDs and also the IRGC Basij group. Iranian patriots are now working with Mossad and Israel. And we have this. The IRGC TV media is now permanently off of the air. First, the U.S. and Israel hit the building where the TV station was located. They went to a temporary location, and now that is also off air. And we continue to see Basij and IRGC being hit by strategic strikes by the U.S. and Israel. And we're hearing that many more defections from IRGC, the CUDs, the Basij group, the Iranian military, and the police inside Iran. We see massive defections taking place. We also had overnight the Iran hitting one of its Gulf states' neighbors, Dubai, and the UAE. But the missile was intercepted. We also note, according to CENTCOM, that CENTCOM and the U.S. and Israel have decreased the amount of missiles and drones that Iran can launch. They've decreased the missiles by 90% and the drones by 95%. Now, I would like to put forth here that I agree with Mike from around the world, because I could see in my mind something strange was happening. That Iran was able to get off so many missiles and drones that were successfully hits and were not deflected by the U.S. and Israel's air defense systems. Something strange. Mike brought this out, that one of the strange things the U.S. and Israel are seeing is that the Patriot and THAAD air defense systems, they launch an interceptor, but it suddenly turns and
The Equinox is the crossover SUV that has room for business or pleasure. Its spacious interior combines family and functionality. Lease a 2026 Equinox LT for just $249 a month. Chevy Detroit. Together, let's drive.
This $10 pen fixed what $1,000 worth of creams couldn't, because this yellow crust
hits the ground. That is not part of the scenario that should be happening. I put forth that Iran does have some kind of secret weapon. And I also believe Iran operates with a temporary shield over it of witchcraft. Recall that Iran is protected by the Prince of Persia, who was able to withstand God's angels for 21 days, bringing an answer to a prayer, until the Prince of Persia was taken down and neutralized by Michael, the head of God's war angels, and several other war angels. Now, I believe that in response to the prayers of Christians in America, Israel, and in Iran, where it's believed millions of Iranian patriots are also Christians, that God has his war angels also in this battle. I expect going forward, now that you and I are aware of this, we know what to pray for and against. I believe that victory will belong to God, the American people, the people of Israel, and the people of Iran sooner rather than later. So we see that going on. We also see overnight Iran, the IRGC, launching missiles toward Turkey, which is a NATO country. And there are NATO forces there now who were able to deflect the missile away from Turkey. We have this. Yeah. And today, the U.S. and Israel are hitting ever harder in Iran, taking down additional Iranian military bases and also Iranian IRGC banks. And we have this. Israel is now also hitting, inside Lebanon, the proxy group for Iran, the Hezbollah. Now, one of those terrorist attacks involved a person from Lebanon. I believe it was the attack on the Temple Israel synagogue. That individual was from Lebanon and appears to have been a supporter of Hezbollah. So that's going on. And Israel continues to disarm Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Hezbollah in Lebanon. Lebanon is a country on the border of Israel. The Hezbollah have been launching missiles into Israel. Hezbollah has also been hitting the UK bases and Cyprus. They weren't successful in hitting the bases, but they tried to hit the UK base in Cyprus, now being protected by America. They also tried to hit Greece, which is being protected by NATO. So that's going on. And we have also today the IRGC being hit, making a hit into central Israel, where two hits by the IRGC into Israel, central Israel today, did make their mark. And we have this, that the besieged individuals inside Iran are being taken down today at many checkpoints. And we have this, that President Trump has said of the Ayatollah number 2. Now, we had much information come out from Iran. It is more believable that intel is correct in stating that the Ayatollah number 2, Mustafa Khamenei, was actually hit on the same day as his father, February 28, Ayatollah number 1, who was killed. But that Ayatollah number 2 was also hit that day, had to have his leg amputated, and has been in a coma and on a ventilator since February 28. The IRGC overrode the clerics and mullahs and has brought forth that Ayatollah number 2 is alive and well. We hear no voice, audio from him. We see no pictures of him. Now, President Trump made a statement last night, or put out on his social media. Ayatollah number 2 may be alive, but he is disfigured. So we'll see in the future what's actually going on. But the Ayatollah number 2.
See, Dollar Shave Club just has great razors at a great price and no bull.
The most affordable German-engineered car brand is also the most fun. Get in the drive.
Is not being believed by the
10
world
minutes, you guys.
to actually be legitimate. We do know that the IRGC simply overrode the clerics and mullahs who, according to the Iranian constitution, are to select the next Ayatollah number 2. They did so with guns to their heads by the IRGC. The IRGC then brought forth and said that Ayatollah number 2 was alive. But we see no pictures of him. We see no video. We hear no audio. So most of the world simply believe now that it is the IRGC who is calling the shots in Iran. So that's going on. And we have this intel. We do know that the IRGC and the Basij group have been hiding in hospitals and schools because they know the U.S. and Israel do not hit hospitals and schools. Now, a video is coming out by a Iranian patriot nurse in one of the Iran hospitals, showing the halls lined with IRGC and uniforms, plus plain clothes intel group of Iran. So we have verification that, yes, the IRGC is hiding in hospitals and schools. From Afterburn, we have that the U.S. hit an Iranian nuke site yesterday near Parchin. And What's Up with Shipping puts forth that within the past 24 hours, Iran had hit 2 tankers that were at anchor near Kuwait and also near Iraq. And the previous day, they had hit a Thai container ship We do know from the Thai container ship, 3 are missing and 20 were rescued and are in Oman. So that's going on. And we have this. We have that last night, Thursday night, Iran launched 1 missile, and that goes along with what we're hearing from CENTCOM, that the U.S. and Israel have decreased the ability of Iran to launch missiles. Last night, they launched 1 missile at Israel, which we believe was intercepted and did not make a hit. And we have this. Most of the Iranian military bases have been destroyed and most of their ammo depots. Many of their local police stations have been destroyed. And many IRGC checkpoint besieged group have been destroyed. And now we have this from Larry Taylor, information from God. So we've been on a particular timeline when the U.S. and Israel decided to take out the evil forces in Iran at the top of their government and military. The message that Larry Taylor received from God that put us on a different timeline, that moved us up and to the right. And who is at the right hand of God the Father? That would be God the Son, Jesus, whom many call Yeshua. And the actions that America and Israel are taking against Iran has brought us into a quicker timeline for the return of our Messiah, Jesus Christ. Now, we know that one day with God can be 1,000 years. So I submit this. I don't particularly look for the return of Jesus anytime soon. I understand from God that we are to simply take care of the assignments we have right now from God. And I believe that is to pray for America, Israel, and Iran to bring about an end of this evil empire in Iran so that Christians in America, Israel, and Iran are free to worship God. So that's going on. And now a short prayer. This is for the U.S. military. Father, we pray in the name of Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, for our U.S. military. We pray for a manifold increase in the invincibility of our U.S. military in battle. We pray for no stone to strike the hill of our U.S. military in battle. We pray, Father, that our U.S. military be led by those who are prayed up in the name of Jesus, whom many call Yeshua. We pray, Father, for fair weather for battle, and that there be no interference from the sun, nor from space weather, to compromise the lethality of our U.S. military in battle. And we say thank you, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, and God the Holy Spirit. I say to my family and friends, remain steady out there, continue to pray. God is in charge, and He is on the move. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, that was a little long tonight. 35 minutes, 36 minutes. So yeah, I got about between 2 and 5 minute clips, and then I got Doug has an 18-minute. Nick has an 18-minute. So moving right along here. These next two are kind of interesting, you guys. First one's 2.5. Part there.
Today, space is essential not only to our way of life, it's absolutely critical to the modern way of war. GPS, ATMs, cell phones, gas pumps, traffic lights, power grids, guided missiles, surveillance, RPAs, ground combat control. There's no such thing as a day without space operations. You just don't see them. Earth is only half the battle. Cyber attacks and jamming of our satellites. Microsatellites that can create a debris field. At 17,000 miles an hour, a piece of metal the size of a coin can be weaponized. Now is the time for a military branch with a clear and singular focus on space. A military branch that protects the hopes and dreams of America and our way of life as the space domain becomes more and more contested. It's time for another giant leap. The United States Space Force is being built from the brightest minds across the space operations of the Air Force, our joint services, and the private sector. We aren't just getting ready for the near future, we're getting ready for the 22nd century. When our enemies ask, what if? We will have an answer. When foreign powers can build bases on the dark side of the moon, when private companies are inventing a new economy beyond our planet, we need to stay one step ahead of the future. The future is where we'll make history. We will fight in an environment with no up or down, no left or right, where there are no borders and nowhere to hide. Our Space Force is defending our country, here on Earth and wherever our mission takes us. As commerce and exploration expand, we will imagine the unimaginable, anticipate the inconceivable, and prepare for the impossible. We won't just think outside the box. We'll think outside the atmosphere. In one of the most challenging environments ever known.
What do you guys think of that one? I got a 7-minute one too, similar, side by side. Oh, where is it? There.
In the early 1990s. The Triangular Aerospace nuclear platform was under the top secret and was developed in the Aurora program money from the black budget. At least $3 billion plus TR-3B that flew through 1994. Aurora is the most secretive existing aerospace program. TR-3B is the most exotic vehicle created with the Aurora program. It is funded and operationally commissioned by the National Recognition Office, the NSA, or National Security Agency, and the CIA. TR-3B Triangular Aircraft Flight is not fiction and was built with technology available in the mid-1980s. Not every UFO spotted is one of their own aliens. TR-3B's external coverage is reactive to radar electric stimulation. It can change its reflectivity, radar absorption, and color. This polymer, when used in combination with the electronic measures of TR-3B and ECCM, can make the appearance of the vehicle look like a small ship or a flyer, or fake radar, in a false variety of aircraft, not an aircraft, and more aircraft in different locations. A circular ring filled with acceleration plasma called disruptor magnetic field switch surrounds the crew's rotating compartment and is far from any imaginable technology. Sandia and Livermore laboratories have developed reverse engineering designed by MFD. The government will do anything to protect this technology. Plasma based on mercury at 250,000 atmospheres and at a temperature of 150 degrees Kelvin and accelerated to 50,000 revolutions per minute creates superconductive plasma as a result of the interruption of gravity. In other words, the plane levitates. The MFD generates a rotating magnetic field that disturbs or neutralizes the effects of gravity on the ship's mass in 89%. Do not misunderstand. This is not anti-gravity. Anti-gravity offers a rejection force that can be used for propulsion. MFD creates a disruption of the gravitational field of the Earth, the circling mass of the circular accelerator. The mass of the circular accelerator and the entire mass of the accelerator, such as crew cap, avionics, MFD systems, fuels, crew environment systems, and the nuclear reactor, are reduced by 89%. This makes the vehicle extremely easy and able to overcome the performances maneuvers of any aircraft ever built, except for, of course, UFOs. TR-3B evolves at high altitude, invisible, using stealth technology, being a recognition platform with indefinite flying time. Once it arrives at high speed, it does not need much propulsion to maintain altitude. At Groom Lake, rumors came of a new element that acts as a plasma catalyst. With the weight of the vehicle reduced by 89%, it can travel by 9 Mach, approximately 10,000 kilometers per hour, either vertically or horizontally. Some sources say performance is limited only by pilots' biological limitations. There are many, considering that the mass is reduced by 89% and g-forces are also reduced by 89%. The TR-3B propulsion is provided by 3 multi-mode propellers mounted at each lower corner of the triangular platform. TR-3B moves below Mach 9 to climb 120,000 meters or 120 kilometers.
Video,
Then God knows
guys?
how fast it can move. The 3 multi-mode rocket engines mounted under each corner of the platform use hydrogen or methane and oxygen for propulsion. In a rocket system that uses hydrogen and liquid oxygen, 85% of the propulsion provides oxygen. The nuclear missile engine uses a liquid oxygenated thermal propellant for additional power. The reactor heats up liquid hydrogen and injects liquid oxygen through supersonic nozzles, so that hydrogen burns at the same time as liquid oxygen. The multimodal propulsion system can operate in the atmosphere, with the propulsion provided by the nuclear reactor in the upper atmosphere with hydrogen propulsion, and in the combined hydrogen and oxygen propulsion. What you have to remember is that the 3 rocket engines propel only 11% of the TR-3B's top secret mass. Engines are built by Rockwell. Observation of triangular UFOs means that they are not necessarily extraterrestrial, but top secret TR-3B. NSA, NRO, CIA, and USAF played a shell game with the nomenclature of these aircraft. They created TR-3, modified it in TR-3A, TR-3B, and 2, 3, or 4 plus or minus suffixes created by designers as different aircraft, not the same aerospace vehicle. The TR-3B is different from TR-3A, such as banana against grapes. Some of them are human-crewed, others without a pilot. This was the story, as you heard, with many technical details, to hope that as the data will appear in the press and more people will have access to them, they will help to wake up the masses and lead to their removal for the use of mankind. On the one hand, and on the other hand, people are no longer manipulated or stupid about an eventual alien invasion, as it has begun to propagate through the media. Let's hope that the so-called black helicopters and their technology, flying without noise and carrying out the black operations of the hidden government, will be revealed soon. What are your thoughts? Write them down in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Okay. something different. Wait a minute.
At your desk. Okay, let me say that again. Cell phones are not permitted to be out at your desk. We deal with a lot of sensitive information. We don't want to compromise a client's account. So cell phones are not permitted at your desk. It's in the guidelines. We explained it to you when you were hired and you agreed to it. So I've been seeing cell phones out. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay. Veronica, can I see you before you leave the meeting? Thank you. Thank you for staying behind, Veronica. I just need to talk to you about something. We've tried to contact you a couple times at home about some time-sensitive matters, and it looks like you're not responding. You never respond when we try to communicate with you. I've tried email, texting. I've even tried calling a few times, and it's just impossible to get a hold of you. Can you shed some light on why? No problem. Yeah, I'm happy to shed some light on it. I'm providing my family the same courtesy that I'm providing you while I'm here at work. So when I'm at work, as you just mentioned in the meeting, I'm not allowed to have my phone. I'm not allowed to check in on my family and make sure that they're okay, which I understand. We do deal with sensitive information. So when I'm at home with them, I'm not doing anything that's work related. My contract, as you mentioned, says 9 to 5. So after 5, I'm unavailable. Did you want to see the contract? No, I don't need you to show me your contract. How do we fix this? Because we need to be able to contact you.
Jerry.
There's always a solution. So you can provide me a company cell phone and pay me from 5 to midnight. I don't assume that you're going to have to contact me after midnight. And I will be more than happy to be available, but I will need my same salary from 5 to midnight as well as the company cell phone. We can't do that. We can't pay you indefinitely and we can't provide a cell phone. It's more of sort of being a team player, if that makes sense. I'm sure it makes sense to someone. But I'm available 9 to 5. You can pay me for my time after that if you need me to be available. But no, I'm not giving up time with my family, my alone time. I'm not giving up my time outside of this office to you for anything. So I am a team player from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Okay, thank you.
So what do we call those type of videos? Humor or I don't know what? Colorado lady will be about 5.
Clashing over election integrity, energy costs, abortion policy, government transparency. The new state audit uncovers nearly $1 billion in accounting errors. Nationally, we're going to talk about thousands of non-citizens appearing on voter rolls and new
puppet show, I
federal
guess.
Investigators spent years targeting Trump allies. Here's your Mountain Minute for March 13th. Let's jump in. We start with a major financial finding inside Colorado's government. A state audit found serious accounting errors in the Unemployment Insurance Division at the Department of Labor and Employment, with billions of dollars misreported across several categories. Auditors identified a material weakness in financial reporting, including an estimated $1.5 billion overstatement in payments owed to claimants that should have been about $86 million. When all the corrections were tallied, the net impact of the errors were more than $781 million. At the Capitol, abortion policy sparked emotional debate this week. A bill that would have required abortion providers to offer information, just information about adoption at least 24 hours before performing the procedure, has been killed in committee. Supporters said the measure was about informed consent and making sure women knew adoption was an option, while opponents argued the mandate would interfere with doctor-patient relationship. The committee voted to postpone the bill indefinitely. Energy policy is also front and center. One proposal, House Bill 26-1246, aims to protect ratepayers from rising electricity costs by allowing large industrial users like data centers to build and operate their own power generation instead of forcing utilities to construct expensive infrastructure that ratepayers ultimately fund. Supporters argue it would encourage innovation and reduce pressure on household electricity bills. But critics are raising alarms about yet another utility-related proposal. A new Public Utilities Commission sunset bill would continue the agency while also allowing commissioners to hold certain non-public discussions and expanding the ability of energy developers to appeal local land use decisions to the state level. Opponents say that could reduce transparency and weaken local control over major infrastructure projects. Meanwhile, in Boulder County, high winds last night prompted proactive safety measures on the power grid. Xcel Energy plans to activate enhanced power line protection settings that automatically shut off power if something strikes the lines. The moves come as local officials continue to work through long-term wildfire prevention strategies, including burying more power lines underground. Election issues are also dominating Colorado headlines this week. This one is interesting. All 66 Democratic lawmakers in the state legislature have signed a letter urging Governor Jared Polis not to reduce the prison sentence of former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters, saying clemency would undermine confidence in election security. And in another commentary circulating this week, Complete Colorado's John Caldera argues that public trust in elections could be strengthened through independent oversight of Colorado's election audits, saying greater transparency could help rebuild confidence in the system, which we definitely need. Turning to national news, a Justice Department review of voter rolls is raising new questions about election integrity as well. It says tens of thousands of non-citizens appear to have made it onto the voter rolls nationwide, while hundreds of thousands of deceased or relocated individuals were not properly removed from state systems. The DOJ says it's now pushing states to turn over voter roll data for further review. We'll see if that happens in Colorado. And another report claims federal investigators conducted multiple counterintelligence probes over nearly a decade, targeting President Donald Trump and members of his inner circle, using surveillance tools normally reserved for national security threats. Finally, the debate over the Save America Act continues in Washington. Supporters say requiring proof of citizenship to register and photo ID to vote would only strengthen election security, while critics argue the proposal could create barriers for eligible voters. The advocates say even rare cases of non-citizen voting justify stronger safeguards to protect public trust in elections. That's all for today and this week. Thanks for hanging in there, and sorry for not having as many videos this week due to being sick, but
she does the Colorado news.
This video on X today.
I'll just turn that one off. I hope I saved it on time, didn't I?
You down. It's about focus.
It's confirmed we're going in.
19 minutes.
It's official.
Guys.
We're sending in troops. We're sending in the Marines. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are as we root for Godspeed to our troops. May our enemies all be gummed up. May their bullets turn into feathers, because we have a righteous mission of stopping Iran from getting a doomsday device that could be the end of the world. And anyone who doesn't get that, I really am, when my son went in the Marines, I just don't care what people think. Don't care who wants to pretend like they're anti-war or whatever, or not realizing that every single country in the world was only birthed because we won a victory somewhere along the line. No country was just evolved and just came into being. So welcome to the Happy Patriots in the chat. You guys, in my view, are real heroes in this conflict. Why? Because the will of the people is established by the people back home, not the troops out there. The troops out there actually are the best people in the world. They never lose their resolve. They're incredible. They're on mission. They do their job. It's we, the people here at home, that need to have our will strengthened, our courage, our encouragement of each other. And that's why I say you guys, and I have one of the most patriotic audiences, you guys are the heroes, because it's going to be our will. We want Trump to hear us loud and clear that we support him, which, by the way, that's not a hard position to take. Okay. It's not like I'm being brave. It's like a 85% position in America, not counting Democrats, which I don't even count them. They might as well be Somalis or part of some Iranian terrorist regime. That's who they support. Hello to the chat. Welcome. I love hearing from you guys. I took my son fishing today, only for about an hour because I had to rush back and get on this show, but we did drop pole in water. And as usual, Eddie and I go and we catch nothing. Here's the first piece. This is Tehran. This is just from a few minutes ago. They are having the largest bombing of Tehran yet. Now remember, we don't spray civilians like Tehran does. I'm going to show you some of that too. We don't spray civilians. These are tactical, knocking out their munitions and their factories. Watch this. You'll hear a long delay because of how long it takes for sound to reach us. But this is just a skyline taken by good guys in Iran and sending them out to social media. There's another one there on the left, and then there. Ooh. Oof. These are, we sent in our stealth bomber. I did not show the clip of the stealth bomber taking off, but we're able to move in massive rounds. And we've been using our B-52s because they have no aerial defense to speak of. When you're using your B-52s, basically a flying tank, it's like a blimp, and it can carry more than anybody else. Oh, hello, my people. And people are saying hi. My audience is so nice. You guys are so nice to each other, and I appreciate that. I like your kindness. Here's some details on the troops going in. According to ABC News, amid ongoing military conflict with Iran, 2,200 Marines, I've heard as many as 5,000, and I've in the middle, 2,500, they reported 2,200 Marines from the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit have received deployment orders to the Middle East. They are being deployed together with the Tripoli Amphibious Ready Group, which includes the following ships: the USS Tripoli, an American-class amphibious assault ship, the USS San Diego, yay, and the USS New Orleans, San Antonio-class amphibious transport dock ships. I believe we're securing all of the ports around the Straits of Hormuz to make sure that Iran can't launch mine planting ships, which it's very easy to throw a bunch of mines out there, guys. It's literally like polluting the waters. It's not that hard. So we have to secure all ports is what we're going to be doing. Secure the ports with our guys. The force is also accompanied by around 20 F-38B Lightning II 5th generation fighter jets capable of vertical takeoff and landing. Those are the ones that float. The jets can pivot and they point straight down and the plane just goes straight up. They don't need the tripwire to land. You know, the ones that come in, they have to, so you can cram a ton more of them on the deck, it's vertical takeoff and come back down. There's a strong possibility that this amphibious strike group, and it's more than 2,000 Marines, could be intended for a potential operation to seize Iran's Kar Island. That's where all of their oil, and I mean, like, I don't know if it was 80%, but it's like a huge percentage of the world's oil goes right past Kar Island. And we're just going to take over the island in the Persian Gulf from which around, there you go. Look, I guessed 80% of Iranian oil exports are ships. So not 80% of the world's oil, it's 80% of Iran's oil is shipped from this one Kar Island. You take over that, you got 80% of the movement of oil. Basically, you'll shut the country down. Such a ground operation would likely take place after several weeks once the intensity and scale of airstrikes on Iran decreased as a list of priority targets become exhausted. I don't like putting our plans out there. I'll go ahead and put this up full screen.
See this sharp turn right here? The Cleveland Clinic calls it the splenic flexure. I call it the poop trap. It's where...
I don't like putting our plans out on timelines. Like, I like it if the president ever said, like, we would never put troops on the ground, or we will wait this long before we strike. Because then all Iran knows they have to do is lay low. Lay low for a few weeks. So I don't like telegraphing our plans like that to the public, unless they're used for propaganda. Then I'm all for it. I really like our media accidentally spreading American propaganda. I'm all for that. So if we're feeding this message out to the ABC, NBC, CBS, and then they spread it out to intimidate and terrify the IRGC, I'm all for it. Yeah, I don't want planes announced either. That's right. My people in the military know this. You're giving away information unless it's deliberate. So I don't know what this is. You know, you never know. Now here's a lady. We're going to get back to more of those munitions. I'm throwing this one in as a bonus. This is Donald J. Trump saying, this lady, Maggot, who I believe her name is Maggie, Maggot Hagerman, just another sleazebag writer for the failing New York Times, insists on writing false stories about me. This is about, the Epstein Island and stuff, and now he's going to nail her for slander. Even though she fully knows and understands that the exact opposite of anything she says is usually true. In any event, I'm thinking of adding Maggot and some of her associates into my Florida-based lawsuit against the Times. Now, I love that he's suing them in Florida. Can you guys guess why? We get a sympathetic jury and judge instead of doing it in New York. He's going to do it from his home in Florida. Into my Florida-based lawsuit against the Times, which very happily seems to be proceeding nicely. Thank you for your attention on this matter, President Donald J. Trump. If you support this lawsuit, let's get him some dough and shut down the New York Times. Why do we shut down the New York Times? Here's breaking in Times Square right now. This was half an hour ago, guys. Radical protester at the Quds rally openly we proclaim our support for the Islamic Republic, while crowds scream, shame, shame, USA. And they're saying, deport them all. What do you guys say? I think you should. And he's got the kafila there, whatever that scarf is called. I think if you do this, especially during wartime, you earn a departure from the country. We've deported people for worse. We've deported people just for saying, damn the United States. It was 200 years ago, but we did it.
We proclaim our support for the Islamic Republic. Shame, shame, USA.
Okay, Demi, why are you here? If the Islamic Republic is so great, why are you in Manhattan, one of the most American, honky, apple pie, hot dogs, baseball, the New York Yankees? Why aren't you over in the loving care of the Islamic regime? Oh, and bring your girlfriend there too, and they'll make her wear a bag for the rest of her life and throw acid on her face. You moron.
Shame, shame, USA.
Okay. Yeah, they're all, look at the printed signs, guys. They're all the same. Not one.
Iran is the
sign.
central pillar of the struggle against U.S. imperialism and Zionism today.
Yeah, you sound like every university I've been to. Every sociology department at the university for the last 40 years. These are all printed. Okay, guys, who printed the signs? Is this George Soros or some other communist? When you ask yourself, why is a communist helping an Islamic radical? Let's get some more signs in here. U.S. killed 180 Iranian schoolgirls. That's fake news. Look, it has a little pink backpack with blood on it. The Iranian girls, it says. You guys do not care about Iranian girls. And then there's a picture of the Ayatollah Khomeini held up on this phone. I'm going to move this poster here. Look at this one back here. That's the Ayatollah back there, who's dead. Now they're worshiping a ghost. It was bad enough when they worshiped a living Antichrist. Now they worship the dead. There's the son. He's next. You're next. Americans want health care, not war. You know who doesn't want health care? The Ayatollah. Let's see if there's any other signs here. This guy's just what a goon. And then there's the Hasidic Jews, who are hopefully on the right side of this one. There's the Hasidic Jews. Oh, look, they're waving flags. I don't know what for. They have those weird Russian giant cylindrical headpieces. I saw those in Israel too. Oh, no, there's a Jewish flag and an American flag right there. So we'll take that as a good sign. Wait, there's more. Breaking, the Pentagon is moving additional Marines and warships to the Middle East as Iran sets up its attacks on the Straits of Hormuz, according to 3 U.S. officials. So now we're putting some skin on the bones of this thing. Can confirm the news, says Dan Lamoth. Per 2 U.S. officials familiar with the matter, this will put a Marine air-ground task force in the Middle East along with 3 amphibious warships. That's not enough for a major invasion, but the unit, in theory, would have the skills for a targeted operation on a place like Karg Island. So get ready for the word Karg Island to show up on everybody's feed, usually 24 hours after I report it. Or near the Strait of Hormuz also could come in handy for some kind of evacuation in the region. We're not evacuating anything. Here's one more. Anyone want to make $10 million? Chat, give me a thumbs up. 3,000 of you out there, give me a thumbs up if you want to make $10 million. Okay. All you got to do, this is from Rewards for Justice. This is our government. You got the information on these Iranian terrorist leaders? Send us a tip. It could make you eligible for a reward and relocation. So if you're in a Iranian terrorist neighborhood, like Manhattan, I'm kidding. Like Beverly Hills, I'm kidding. Like San Francisco, I kid. If you're in a terrible place, you can get reward up to $10 million for information on IRGC key leaders.
Remount and recover with the Planet Fitness Black Cord.
Join and get your first month free. Deal ends March 13th.
I think you could find these guys' home addresses if you just look up the Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene donor list. Motaba Khomeini, I don't know who, I can't even pronounce half these names. You'd think I was speaking in tongues and I don't have an interpreter. Al-Alarian, Brigadier General Eskandar, these are all their upper just military goons. These individuals command and direct various elements of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. That's what it stands for, IRGC. I can remember what the G is for. It's guard. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. I'm going to memorize that with you guys. You can remind me if I forget. Which plans, organizes, and executes terrorism around the world. If you have any information on these or other key IRGC leaders or its component branches, send it to us via our Tor-based tip line for Signal. Your information could make you eligible for relocation and a reward. We might go in and rescue you. There's a phone number down there on the right, and at RFJ_USA, I believe that's on Twitter. So I'm just helping get the word out. You guys can pass that around to other countries if you know anyone that might know anything. Meanwhile, here's breaking. The Israeli Air Force, now this is the difference between Israel and Iran. Israel's always known to pamphlet and warn civilians when they're about to bomb an area. Here they're pamphleting an area, encouraging the people on the ground to revolt. The Israeli Air Force dropped leaflets in Beirut a short while ago calling on civilians to act against Hezbollah. You must disarm Hezbollah, it says. This is a quote. Iran's shield. Lebanon is your decision, not someone else's. Not someone else's. Stability isn't just a word. For every Lebanese, your land is yours. Don't let it become easy prey for the Iranian Hezbollah's weapons. Unit 504 is working to ensure the future of Lebanon and its people, believing in the principle, quote, if your neighbor is well, you are well, unquote. If you want to be part of real change and contribute to the prosperity and protection of your country, we are here to live. Is going cake in the trees and on the streets. So they should pamphlet the $10 million reward one if they want some real results, in my view. Okay, and the final piece right here, breaking massive strikes on Isfahan nuclear facility, where the highly enriched uranium is reportedly stored. And there's bombs coming down. Pour it on, pour it on. Tonight, so I've heard, is the highest military bombing of Iran so far in this whole organization. Tonight is going to be a constant blanketing of all of our targets that we've been looking for. So again, pray for our missions that no more mistakes happen like earlier where we lost that KC-135 last night over Iraq, lost 6 of our brilliant soldiers. Pray for their safety because, you know, an accident, our soldiers are more at risk of an accident than enemy fire. The enemies, they don't got anything. So I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about collisions, little things, car accidents, all this scuttling of heavy artillery and munitions. That's what I'm worried about. Accidents. I'm not afraid of Iran at all. Our guys, our boys, in a man-to-man match, if they ever put their head up and actually entered into a war instead of ducking down and doing these little terrorist things, we would mop the floor with any country. So I'm not worried about that. And that's not bragging. That's just an actual fact. So on this happy note, guys, thank you for liking and subscribing. 3,800 simultaneous.
Okay, that was a big Doug tonight. I got some short ones. I just got a 15-minute one I found on George on TikTok. And then Nick's 15.
Credibility after running with a story claiming that Iran was preparing drone strikes on California. Like the Golden Gate Bridge was about to turn into a scene from a Michael Bay movie. The White House was not amused, and this morning they slapped the report down hard. I've got the actual FBI letter that clears the whole thing up, and spoiler alert, the facts are not exactly on Team ABC. Plus, John Fetterman goes on live TV and wrecks CNN's Caitlin Collins right to her face. Then finally, this week's Democrat confession comes from our star, Jasmine Crockett. She accidentally goes on air and admits that when you tighten voting rules, Democrats get less turnout. Who would have thought? We have a lot to get into today. So hit the like button, share it with your friends, your neighbors, your group chat, the guy who argues politics at Thanksgiving, and make sure you subscribe if you're new here because the headlines, well, I couldn't make them up if I tried. All right, let's start by clearing the record because yesterday the media decided to light their credibility on fire for no reason. A story started spreading everywhere after ABC News reported that Iran was threatening drone strikes along the West Coast. The White House is now blasting the report as fake news. Before we get to Caroline Leavitt absolutely unloading on them, here's what ABC was putting out. They wrote on X, quote, Breaking. The FBI has warned police departments in California that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching offensive drones against the West Coast, according to an alert reviewed by ABC News. Naturally, Gavin Newsom was asked about these supposed Iranian drone strikes headed for California and said this.
We are aware of that information, and we transfer that information in real time to our local partners. Drone issues have been always top of mind, and we've assembled some work groups specifically around those concerns. But that's all I'll share at the moment. I have nothing more insightful beyond just what's been reported.
Now, according to the White House, ABC's reporting was completely unsubstantiated. Shocking, I know. And honestly, you do have to ask yourself, why would Iran want to destroy California when Gavin Newsom is already doing a pretty impressive job of that on his own? The press secretary, she set the record straight this morning. She wrote, quote, "This post and story should be immediately retracted by ABC News for providing false information to intentionally alarm the American people. They wrote this based on one email that was sent to local law enforcement in California about a single unverified tip. The email even states the tip was based on unverified intelligence, yet ABC News left out this critical fact in their story. Why? To be clear, no such threat from Iran to our homeland exists, and it never did." So you can see for yourself, this is the actual report sent by the FBI to the Joint Terrorism Task Force, and highlighted in yellow, the word unverified. Not exactly hidden, not even buried in fine print. And yet ABC gets their hands on this letter, looks directly at the word unverified, shrugs, and goes straight to breaking news graphics like Iran's drones are 5 minutes from Santa Monica. You almost have to admire the commitment to panic. But that wasn't the only on-air moment getting fact-checked by the entire internet. The army of watchdogs on X, they hang another W. This time, CNN host Abby Phillip had to do something that seems to cause physical pain inside that building, issue a correction. After claiming the night before that the suspects who threw IEDs into a crowd of Mamdani protesters were actually targeting Zohran Mamdani himself, she suddenly had to walk that back on air. Let's watch this performance together. And you tell me, does this feel heartfelt? Or does this sound more like someone reading a hostage note written by the legal department?
This morning, I issued a correction first thing in the morning on X for a mistake that I made in last night's show, but I also wanted to do so on air as well. I incorrectly said that the bombs that were thrown by ISIS-inspired suspects in New York over the weekend were directed at Mayor Mamdani. They were not. I failed to catch and correct that mistake in real time, and I take full responsibility for that. And while we do make mistakes, it is important to acknowledge and correct those errors when they happen.
Look, after 17 years behind an anchor desk in mainstream media, I can tell you, when you're live, information is flying. Producers are in your ears, scripts are changing. Sometimes you read something you later realize was wrong. It happens. But that's not what this was. This story was days old. So when a script suddenly claims the bombs targeted the mayor, something that doesn't match the facts, every experienced anchor's alarm bells should go off. That's the job. You stop, clarify, and correct it immediately. The only people who let something that obvious slide are amateurs. But hey, if Abby's looking to blow off a little steam after that embarrassing debacle, she might consider joining this group of liberal women in New York City.
And now I invite you to scream!
Louder, louder.
Ladies, respectfully, we hear you. We've been hearing you constantly. You're on every college campus, every corporate HR seminar, every panel discussion, every protest. However, if screaming in parks solved problems, the toddler aisle at Target would have fixed the national debt by now. I mean, at this point, the rest of America is doing what people on your dating app have already done, politely swiping right and moving on with their day. And can someone tell these folks, the sign, it's not necessary? We know. Also spotted roaming the streets of New York, none other than Bill and Hill. And judging by the outfit, it appears Hillary just wrapped up an appointment at Kim Jong-un's tailor shop. And watch this closely, because I'm about 90% sure Slick Willie is gently attempting to introduce his wife into oncoming traffic.
That Hillary?
Did he or did he not gently try to assist her into traffic? Be honest. Was that a helpful nudge? Or Bill thinking, hey, honey, look, a taxi? Someone else who needed a quick exit this week was CNN's Paul Begala, who got absolutely torched online after claiming Pete Hegseth was blowing millions on steak and lobster for himself instead of our troops. Scott Jennings basically told the internet, roll the tape. So we did. And we even included the receipts in the clip. Enjoy.
He has spent $15 million in 1 month for ribeye steak, $6.9 million for lobster tail, $225 million for furniture. He spent more in the month of September than most countries on earth spend in their defense.
Paul, do you believe
all
do you
for
believe,
himself? Lobster tails?
Do you believe
while our troops are eating MREs?
No. Do you
lobster
believe,
tails?
do you believe the Secretary of Defense is personally eating all the lobster?
Wait, he
It's
can't
for
eat
the
16.
Troops.
Oh, really? The troops are getting lobster
frequently.
Brothers Deepak has steak and lobster. How's your steak and lobster? All right, damn, you're decent. How's yours?
ABC News and Gavin Newsom.
Okay, I got 2 more parts, and I'm gonna do the funny lady on YouTube. I got that off of News Force also, okay, so it must be a good one. And then I'll try to get 3 big ones, 3 15-minute ones after I get these 2 out of the way.
God. Troops who are going to war.
Oh my God!
Great meal. You know that.
They're getting lobster. You are so full of
Killed over this.
You are
You're
so
going to get killed
full of
over
it.
this. Internet, do something.
I might have to double it.
Yeah, the real scandal in Washington is feeding American troops too well. Meanwhile, the last administration spent billions putting illegal immigrants in 4-star hotels and feeding them on the taxpayers' dime. I don't know about you, but I'll take surf and turf for the men and women guarding my freedom over luxury suites for border jumpers any day of the week. Honestly, if they're deployed in the middle of this conflict with Iran, give them lobster every night. They earned it. CNN, they're having a rough week. Their batting average right now is about 0 for 3, and this next clip might make it 0 for 4. Watch Caitlin Collins try to lecture Senator John Fetterman about the school that was bombed in Iran, and instead, she gets a 3-minute reality check. Let's just say Fetterman took her to school with facts.
The United States never, ever targets civilians. Iran does, and including their own citizens, and they massacred that 35,000 of them just a couple of weeks ago. And the left, please, the left media is much more angry, about or talking about this hospital, and it is a tragedy. But they didn't seem to be as concerned about the Iranians massacring tens of thousands of their young people just a couple of weeks ago.
We'll skip this one.
Fetterman is absolutely right. Fewer people are dying in Iran right now while the U.S. is targeting regime leadership than what was dying just weeks ago when the Ayatollah was busy mowing down his own people in the streets. Over 30,000 people were murdered in Iran earlier this year for protesting the regime. Some estimates say the number could exceed 36,000. Just imagine what that total would look like right now if President Trump hadn't stepped in. As for the current war, Reuters puts the death toll at about 1,270. That's still tragic, but it's a far cry from the number of graves the Ayatollah and his regime were digging when nobody was stopping them. And John Fetterman, he says wiping out the Islamic regime is great for America. And he even says the president should take it one step further. Watch this.
You are confident that the world is better after the death of Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, but his son,
100%.
Kill
every last member of their leadership.
Well, his son is now in charge, and he's considered even more of a hardliner.
Well, they should kill him too.
Oh, well, maybe they will.
I got to be honest. I like this guy more every time he opens his mouth. And the media hates that because he's not reading from the approved script. War is messy. It always has been. It always will be. There are mistakes. There are tragedies and there are consequences. The only question is whether the world is safer when it's over, which is apparently a question the left refuses to even consider. Because if President Trump racks up a win, the media suddenly develops selective amnesia. They won't report it. They won't acknowledge it. And if they can't ignore it, they'll try to convince you it's actually a disaster. Wait until you see Fetterman push back and Caitlin Collins attempt to end the interview. I also have a mind-blowing confession made by Democrats, plus the left's Trump and Epstein hoax. It suffers a massive blow. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Patriot Gold, who I love, by the way, they share our same values. Gold and silver is flying off the shelves and they want to help you. Wall Street is scrambling to keep up. Gold is now the second largest currency in the world. JP Morgan says it could hit $8,500 an ounce if allocations creep up just a tiny bit. Bank of America is calling $6,000 by spring 2026. And BMO, they're whispering $8,650 for gold and $220 for silver by 2027. Silver demand alone exploded 158% last year. China basically cleared the shelves. Here's the deal, though. This isn't a panic moment. It's a protect your stuff before someone else grabs it moment. Physical gold and silver in your hands, that's how you sleep at night. Call the proud Americans at Patriot Gold Group today. Mention me, Carrie Lane, and receive best-in-class service from Patriots Protecting Patriots. Patriot Gold Group offers a no-fee for life IRA, allowing your IRA or 401k to be held in physical gold and silver. You may be eligible for the no-fee for life IRA on qualified.
A long time ago growing up, my sister told me to eat the tail. She tricked me and everything. So ever since that happened, I never eat shrimp.
Rollovers. All you have to do is call 888-919-1208 for your free investor guide today. Patriot Gold Group has been Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer for 9 years in a row. Call 888-919-1208 today. Okay, here's John Fetterman setting the record straight and accusing Caitlin Collins of trying to silence him.
Whether like it's the New York Times, they're making it more and more, trying to convince America that this has been a disaster or things are out of control. And that's just categorically not true on that.
I just think it deserves coverage. Obviously, given the number of children who were killed as a result of it, it obviously matters what happened there. We'll see what the Pentagon investigation says. Senator John Fetterman, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you for joining us, as always, here.
Yes. Oh, no, you don't have to cut me off here.
Can we please make this guy the leader of the Democrat Party? I am totally serious. One John Fetterman is currently showing more common sense than the entire rest of the party combined, and half of cable news while we're at it. What our military has achieved in Iran is remarkable, whether the talking heads want to admit it or not, and the president wasn't exactly shy about taking a victory lap.
Our military has been unbelievable. We are knocking the hell out of them, and we've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force, all of their anti-aircraft weaponry, their radar. Frankly,
what happened to pizza and chicken?
They have a new leader every 3 weeks, every 3 days. So I think we're doing really an amazing job, and we're being given credit all over the world. Somebody had to do it. 47 years of horror.
While the U.S. has made major progress in this war, the next challenge is making sure the world's oil supply doesn't get caught in the crossfire. Right now, the biggest flashpoint is the Strait of Hormuz, a tiny stretch of water that carries about 1/5 of the planet's oil, which means when something goes wrong there, gas prices everywhere start doing jumping jacks. Overnight, 2 tankers burst into flames off the coast of Iraq, and Iran is already claiming responsibility for hitting at least one of them. The regime is now threatening to choke off the Strait of Hormuz entirely, and the new supreme leader released his first public statement saying Iran is willing to use the waterway as leverage against the West, because apparently their foreign policy strategy is now just set things on fire and we'll see what happens. The White House fired right back, saying President Trump is prepared to send U.S. Navy escorts through the strait if that's what it takes to keep the oil flowing, which is the diplomatic way of saying, try it and see what happens. Now, world leaders are also scrambling to keep prices from going through the roof. The International Energy Agency says its 32 member countries will release about 400 million barrels of oil from strategic reserves, with the United States contributing 172 million of those barrels. And yes, that is the same reserve the Biden administration drained down to the lowest level in 40 years, which the Trump administration has been trying to refill.
One more part, and we'll finish off three big ones. We got 15 on George, Nick 15, and then that lady will do first. A lot of stuff coming out. A lot of Good videos out there. I couldn't get to the rest of them. Okay, my team won at the buzzer tonight. Advance to the next round.
Oh my God, dude, ribeye all day. I love a good ribeye, dude. That's so good.
I love a good
17 minutes.
ribeye too, but I sure as shit ain't getting a good ribeye off of Temu.
Here we go about food, you guys.
Okay, I'm gonna need everyone to sit down for this one because Temu and people who shop on Temu have officially lost their minds. We have reached a point in human history where people are not just going to Temu to buy cheap cell phone cases or questionable electronics. Now they're buying steaks. Like meat.
There we go, steak.
Like real meat. Everybody's talking about buying steaks on Temu right now, but don't forget they have chicken too. Actual meat. The same website that sells a $3 toaster. But the best part is that people over on TikTok are not just buying these steaks. They're actually cooking them, reviewing them, and promoting them. Like this is a normal life decision to order steaks through the mail from a knockoff website like Temu. Why have we come to this? Why? That's the biggest question I have right now. Why? Why would you buy steaks from Temu? I don't know about you, but when I'm shopping for dinner, I don't think to myself, should I get my protein from the grocery store or the Chinese discount mystery box app? Okay, so today we're going to be watching some of these TikToks. We're going to see what the steaks look like. We're going to see what people say about eating them. And we're going to ask the most important question of them all. Who looked at Temu and thought, yeah, that's where I'll buy my meat?
Who is so down and out that they are buying Temu steaks from the grumpy butcher? I couldn't be that down and out. I would rather have a Dollar Tree steak, no shade to Dollar Tree steak, than a Temu steak. Oh, what?
Yeah, because, don't forget here, Dollar Tree does have steaks. So why on earth would you go to Temu to buy steaks? And here's the thing, a lot of Temu shoppers are over here saying things like, I go to Temu because it's so much cheaper than Amazon or it's cheaper than Walmart. I'm getting things that I need that are so much cheaper. These Temu boxes of steak are not cheap. These shits are like $100 a box. $100 a box. I think I might have bookmarked one of the videos, mentions that the steaks are like 8 for $100. 8 steaks for $100. You can't go somewhere else to buy your steaks. You think 8 steaks for $100 on Temu is saving money? We haven't even watched anybody cook and eat these steaks yet, but in my opinion, anybody who is promoting Temu steaks as a cost-effective option deserves whatever food poisoning hell they're about ready to experience.
Huge news, everybody. I just found out where the next pandemic is starting. It is whoever orders food from Temu. Raw meat in the mail, raw meat in the mail, raw meat in a box on your porch in the mail.
I just found out where the next pandemic is starting. So so here's an advertisement that has been pulled off of, I believe it was Instagram. So the screen grab here is a promo on social media for Temu food. 1 ribeye steak, 1 sirloin steak. I'm pretty sure that this is a meat box that you can buy. I don't know the price, but it ain't cheap enough, let me tell you that. So there's a ribeye steak and a sirloin steak. There's 2 large filet mignons and 2 New York strip steaks. You also get breaded chicken breast tenders and 2 heritage chicken wings, cooked. So they've already cooked the chicken, but the steaks are raw. It seems like we're making good choices, right? With what we're gonna put in our body. The Temu buffalo wings have me on the toilet like. As a former FedEx worker, this is criminal. Hey, so is Temu food cheaper than Walmart? Asking for a friend.
Got these beautiful steaks from Temu. Look at how dinner turned out.
So we look right here. She is the one who is this? Life with Rakina. Her video, from what I can tell, just from my simple scrolling, her videos have gone more viral than anybody else regarding cooking of Temu steaks. This is a paid ad. It says right here at the bottom, #ad. Temu really did their big one with these 6-ounce ribeyes, seasoned to perfection, seared on my griddle until kind of done. Then plated with homemade mashed potatoes and broccolini, simple, flavorful, and a delicious dinner at home at Temu. And at the very bottom, she has also branded it with a paid partnership. And of course, she's got her code so that you can go buy steaks on Temu too using a code. In my opinion, this is ballsy as hell of her. Like, how are you going to cook discount cheap-ass Temu steaks and try to say that they're good enough that everybody should go buy them? Really? You're not going to think that you're bold-faced lying to us? But okay, it is what it is. It is what it is.
These other steaks that I got from Temu, it came in this bag with our ice box to keep it cold. Let's open them up and see what they look like. I have 6-ounce premium ribeyes. Here's the quality of them. Got some nice marbling in there.
I got 6 ribeyes for under $70. It's a great price point. I pulled out my griddle so I can get these steaks that have a nice, beautiful char and aroma that's going to this house from these steaks. Oh my God. I served it up with some garlic mashed potatoes and broccolini. And look how juicy this steak is, y'all.
It's tender, it's juicy. Get your steaks from Temu.
No, thank you. Nope, won't do it. Nope, you can't make me. Steaks from who, my love? From Temu? Our brains are shrinking. The Temu with the orange and white logo? Thanks, boo, but I ate last week.
Why did I just see somebody doing a review for steaks off of Temu? Y'all love playing Russian roulette with y'all lives. And mind you, you would think that this would be the other people. It was our people. In our months. I don't want to hear nothing when it's this new strain of sickness coming out because y'all eating Temu meat. It didn't even make no sense. Y'all already lost it when they start selling weave. Then, now y'all selling meat?
Okay, so all this came out in February, okay? She says, I thought it would have been them, but it was our people in our month.
Having fun with this video.
As we speak, our enemies are assembling.
Let's check out some people trying the cooked chicken.
She had over 3,000.
Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
It's not bad. It's actually not bad. It's actually real chicken.
The girl in the purple's like, it's not bad. And that girl's face in the middle. The girl's face in the middle says it all. Oh my God, she's over there with her face like, that is definitely pigeon, not chicken. Is it for real from Temu? Yeah. Do you want the link? No, we don't want the link. Like the Temu with the orange and white logo, people are so incredibly flabbergasted that the Temu, where people spin the wheel and get 100% off of their next purchase, they're buying $9 wedding dresses. They're buying fake ass AirPods for like $4. Yes, that Temu. You're getting steaks and chicken. What could go wrong?
Steaks from Temu are finally here. Yes, that's right. I ordered steaks from Temu. I'm being the guinea pig, so you don't have to. Let's find out what's in the box. It's good to see perishable on the box because, hey, at least we know they're real steaks.
Are they though? Are they real beef? Or are they lab grown? Or are they something else entirely? I have so many questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the steaks. Let's take a look. Okay, So they were shipped with a block of Nordic ice. That's good, right? Cool. Still cold. Honestly, it is kind of weighty. So we have 4 steaks. They don't look bad.
All right, let's see him cook these and compare it to Aldi steaks.
Steaks from Temu are a real thing. This is the steak from Temu, and this is a steak from Aldi. Let's find out how they smell, how they weigh, and how they ultimately taste without becoming patient zero for a new strain of disease. So before we weigh them, it's probably worth pointing out that this one's noticeably darker and thinner than the steak from Aldi. These steaks are allegedly 10 ounces apiece, so let's find out if that's actually true. I've zeroed this in. So if we do a little switch right here, 10 ounces, look at that. But the one from Aldi is 17.39. Do they smell, you ask? That smells like a beefy steak. There's this one right here. A little less of a beefiness smell to it, but still smells like a steak. We're going to keep it really simple with the preparation. We're going with some salt, some pepper, a little bit of MSG, some onion powder, and some garlic on each steak. I will say the Temu steak is noticeably wetter. And that's got me slightly concerned, but hey, for science, right? We'll find out what happens. Now we have 2 seasoned steaks. Let's find out how they cook. Many people have told me to avoid making this video, but this isn't for me. This is for science and the entire scientific community. So here we have the steak from Aldi, and we have the steak from Temu. Let's see how they cook up. Time for the big reveal. Firstly, the Temu guy right here. Look at that. Delicious. Now look at the one from Aldi. Even better. See, we have the Temu steak that looked like it cooked pretty well. We'll let it rest for a minute. Up we have the Aldi steak. This is much more of the color you'd want to see from your steak, but let's taste test them. This is the steak from Temu. Let's see how it tastes. It's fine. A little bit chewy, a little bit dense. Kind of. It's fine. Aldi. Okay. So the Aldi one tastes, the texture is much more like steak to me, whereas the one from Temu is still steak. It just seems more like a maybe slightly processed steak. Either way, they both taste delicious. To answer the question, should you buy a steak from Temu? I can say with 100% certainty, just buy it from Aldi, Walmart, Maya, wherever you are. Buy it from your local place. Don't order it from Temu. It's not worth the money, and it's not really worth the taste.
No, there are so many places you can go get a steak now. Like I said, you can even go get a steak from freaking Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has steaks. You don't need to order them from Temu. It's human meat. An article came out about it today. Some things that you should never do, like buy steak off of Temu. Hey, that rhymed.
Buy the steak off Temu. Let's cook it.
This is another freaking paid partnership.
Let's cook a steak from Temu. Use code MAMA to get 30% off.
That's not meat. 3D printed? I don't know. Could be.
This is gonna be beautiful.
We got a ribeye and a top sirloin. I have no idea what this looks like, so let's open her up. Here we go, dude. What's it gonna be? I love this. It's low-key like a present. Last layer. Last layer. Oh, dude, these things actually look freaking great. What?
Hey, this is actually a nice looking steak.
First, we need to de-thaw. We're going lukewarm water. Just throw in the steak. We decided we're gonna cook both.
We'll let those de-thaw for 30 minutes, and then we'll start cooking. By the way, these steaks are 30% off if you use this code below.
Let's go ahead and try these guys out.
Don't
It's fully
do it.
de-thawed now. Yeah. Go ahead and pat these guys dry. Flip it over and repeat.
And I'm just gonna season with salt and pepper. Keep it simple.
And we're gonna turn it over. But this side's gonna have just a little bit of a binder. We're going olive oil, baby. Rub that in. Let's come over here and turn on my burner. Go down with a little bit of oil. My pan is starting to smoke. Go ahead and grab the thicker cut. I'm gonna toss that in right there. It's still a little frozen in the middle,
But that's fine.
all right, it's been a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and give it a flip. Oh, yeah. I'm going to grab the ribeye. We'll go ahead and throw that in the pan as well. Spin about another 3 minutes. Give this another flip. All right, we'll go ahead and flip the ribeye. Oh, my gosh. It's not even that bad. All right, I'm going to throw in some fresh garlic. Go ahead and flip this guy. I'm going to throw in some rosemary and then just a little bit of butter. We'll go ahead and melt that down. You know, that looking like a nice steak. Go ahead and flip this guy again. Roll that around.
Yeah, it's looking like a steak that you can get basically anywhere. Now, the texture and the taste is what matters. And lest we not forget, these steaks are from Temu.
I'll go ahead and flip my ribeye. Yes, sir. Mostly just want to get some butter on it. I'll flip it again, scoop up that liquid, and then baste my steak. And once both steaks are cooked, place them over here, and we'll dump on that secret sauce. Oh, yeah.
And there you have it. Some steaks I got off Temu. Let's cut them open and try them out. Dude, I'm honestly excited for this. They smell really good. You ready?
They smell good because you're smelling garlic, butter, and rosemary. That's what you're smelling. You're not smelling the steaks. You're smelling the garlic, butter, and rosemary, which I bet smells really freaking good. I'm hungry. That just goes to show how much I do not want to eat Temu steaks. I am starving. It is lunchtime. I am late for lunch, and even I wouldn't eat these steaks right now. But I'd lick up some garlic butter.
Booking.com has all kinds of stays because some want a house.
Okay, well, I guess everybody's hungry now. So we're going to finish up with George, you guys. It's a long one. I'm going to try to finish it with George. It's only 14 minutes, so this will be the last one.
Secure the Western Hemisphere. First, under Fidel Castro, they aligned themselves with the Soviet Union, now Russia. Then they aligned themselves with the Communist Chinese, our economic adversary. Then Cuba became a hub for transnational criminal organizations trafficking narcotics into the United States. It's safe to say Cuba has been a destabilizing force in the Western Hemisphere for decades. But in his second term, President Trump has set out to utterly crush, dismantle all adversarial entities, countries, powers, principalities that have been problems for the United States for literally decades. President Trump is imposing, implementing, enacting, enforcing the Monroe Doctrine, the Monroe Doctrine. He started by blowing up the drug boats, all the narcotics trafficking vessels that were found in the Caribbean, in the Atlantic, in the Pacific. They are now fish food at the bottom of their respective ocean. It's amazing. Then he applied maximum pressure on the socialist regime of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. And then in January, 20 Delta Force operators descended on Venezuela, took Maduro, kidnapped him, took his wife too, and now he's in prison in New York with P. Diddy. So awesome, man. And the final piece on that chessboard is Cuba. Cuba has been the worst and longest lasting. The Nicaraguan regime is up there too, but Cuba, in my opinion, is the biggest one. And now President Trump, ladies and gentlemen, has done it again. Cuba is surrendering as we speak. The Cuban dictator has just announced that they are now in talks with Marco Rubio and the United States, and a deal will be made. Rubio and President Trump have talked about a friendly takeover, a friendly neighborhood takeover of Cuba. We come in, take their country, we run it. We don't need a regime change. We just, point some guns at the heads of the current regime, and they do as we say. They stop ruining their country with communism. They become capitalist overnight. Amazing. I want to remind everyone what President Trump last said about Cuba at the meeting with other Latin American heads of states at the Shield of the Americas Summit, the launch of the initiative to tackle the cartels with over a dozen other countries.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello, my name is Adam.
As we achieve a historic transformation in Venezuela, we're also looking forward to the great change that will soon be coming to Cuba. Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money. They have no oil. They have a bad philosophy. They have a bad regime that's been bad for a long time.
So he said, Cuba is at the end of the line. Ladies and gentlemen, and indeed it is. Remember, the Cuban people called for Trump to come in and do this. This is just one picture from a protest, but like there have been dozens with hundreds of thousands of Cubans in the United States saying they want freedom. Of course, Democrats are going to support the communist regime because they have never met a dictatorship that Trump toppled that they didn't want to support. It's crazy, you know? No kings, but they support every king that Trump topples, every supreme leader he takes out. Okay, well, Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez is currently the leader of Cuba, the leader of the Communist Party in Cuba. And this is the guy, I just want to put this into perspective, that has called the U.S. pressure on Cuba fascist, criminal, and genocidal in nature, right? He's saying Trump is genocidal. Like, that's a crazy accusation. Trump is a fascist, even though he's the one censoring political opponents. Speaking of which, I'm going to tell you how he's releasing political opponents to please Trump. It's so funny. But here is Miguel Diaz-Canel announcing that, yes, indeed, they are in talks with the United States, and it's over. Like, this is it.
Que en correspondencia con la política consistente que siempre ha presentado la Revolución Cubana.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll read this. He's saying, look, as commander-in-chief, leader of our revolution, and in consultation with the principal bodies of the party, so crazy, I'm translating, the Cuban officials, all of us in Cuba have decided and are currently holding talks with representatives of the United States, that would be Marco Rubio, to seek through dialogue, I'm assuming, a possible solution to the bilateral differences that, you know, have plagued the relationship that exists between the two nations. These exchanges have been facilitated by international actors, and I would like to pause here. Whenever we have faced tense situations in our relationships with the United States, efforts have emerged to seek channels for dialogue, to seek talks. So he's saying, look, this is normal. We're just talking. No, it's not the same, right? He says, I believe the most recent example was the way the commander-in-chief conducted talks with Barack Obama. That's not quite the same, though, is it? Like, it's not quite the same thing, right? Obama talked to Cuba about, like, hey, let's lift sanctions, give you some relief. Trump is like, mother zuckers, you belong to us now. We're taking your country. We're going to run it because you can't run a country. So this is simply incredible. But he's saying, you know, hey, look, it's just like the other talks. No, Cuba will become a U.S. vassal state. We will control it, and it will no longer be a problem. The Cuban people called for Trump to act, and he's acting. Marco Rubio's parents fled Cuba. I'm sure they're ecstatic. They're like, yes, this is amazing. And not only that, the Cuban regime is now freeing political prisoners to please President Trump. I believe that's just a move to say, look, you know, don't just shoot. You know, look, we can do what you want. Like, this is a good faith action. Like, hey, we can be on the same page. Just like Delcy Rodriguez released hundreds of prisoners from Venezuela's infamous political gulag, Cuba's doing the same thing. So 51 people have been released from prison. I hate how the Associated Press, our American press, is saying 51 people. Okay, political prisoners. It's not like they went and, oh, you're a murderer, you're out. No, these are political prisoners that should not have been jailed. They were jailed for their politics. So this is amazing. And of course, the regime is saying, oh, it's because they served their sentence and have maintained good conduct in prison. No, it's because you want to please Trump. Like, that's obviously what's going on here. And let me just give you some perspective on who Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez is. This guy was attacking the United States after the Maduro incident, you know. After the Maduro saga, he said they have no moral authority to point fingers at Cuba about anything. Absolutely anything. Those who turn everything into a business, even human lives. Okay, Cuba was defending the Maduro regime and taking advantage of the fact that Venezuelan oil was sanctioned. So they were buying it at like a fraction of the cost. In exchange, Cuba was protecting that regime. So, who was doing business? Those who today hysterically attack our nation do so sick with rage because of this people's sovereign decision to choose their own political model. Okay, Cubans haven't had a fair election since most Cubans were born. Like, what are you talking about, guy? But it's just so crazy seeing guys like this talk, puff their chest out, Nancy Pelosi style, like all out, the guns out, the melons out. And then Trump comes in and says, we're taking it out. And it's capitulation. It's amazing. And he says Cuba's a free, independent, and sovereign nation. You know what I've noticed? Communist leaders love the word sovereignty. I guess to them, sovereignty means the ability to fully keep your people under total control and allow them no rights, no exercise of basic human rights. That's what sovereignty means to them. That's what free and independent means to them. Free only applies to the government and its ability to enact policy and to silence dissent. That's all. It doesn't matter what Cubans say. Cubans are calling for this. There are protests right now inside Cuba, have been for weeks, where people light things on fire. They do other things just for Trump to come in. Cubans hung. Actually, I need to show you guys this. This is incredible stuff. On my X account.
Okay.
Cuba. Cubans put flags, American flags, on their homes. This was in February. So a month ago, in Havana, the capital of Cuba, they hung these flags like a symbol, like, hey, Trump, like Batman, You see that bat signal, Batman needs to from communism.
God dang it. I guess that must be getting tired. My arms are. We got about halfway through that one. It was 14 minutes, and I think it was about halfway. Okay, everybody. Yeah, we'll do one show. I got good games to watch tomorrow. So we'll go 3 o'clock. So everybody have a good weekend, and if I don't see you, and I wish everybody love all. Remember, please hit like, and all the new people, please sub to the backup channels in the description, please. Thank you, and mods, thank you. Okay, Lucy, Flying Eagle, and Carol. Lucy's quiet tonight. Where's Lucy at? Another doubleheader of shows today. A lot of good stuff out today again. So, signing off, Chico New on the 13th on a Friday. We'll see you tomorrow around 3. Never give up. See you all tomorrow, you guys. Have a good weekend if I don't see you.